Good morning, everyone. This is Becky here at Aunt Beck's Creations, and if I'm talking a little loud or whatever, I can't tell how loud I am. My ears are a little plugged from trying to clear my head before I came on. So we'll see how long I last. I was going to do cards with Ann, but then we were so sick midweek that there was no way I was going to be able to play along with her. But I do want to make a few cards this morning, and then if Ann wants to make cards together at a later date, I have plenty of cards. That's not a problem. I do want to send out a bunch of cards in August, and I'll just randomly pick people from the email or the mailing list that I have. And so you might end up with one of these cards. Good morning, Safia. Good morning, Janet. Now, I'm not going to stay on a long time because I'm not sure how long this voice is going to last. But we are feeling so much better. The fellas have both gone to work today, and I'm really glad about that. But I'm really concerned about how long Scott's going to be able to hold it because he gets still getting really tired. But we'll see. So the other day, I spoke about how I make up my bases here. So this is like the center of the front of the card. And then I have mats. And then I have my card bases and envelopes. And what I've done is I measured the cards. Then I made the mats, the black mats, a 1/4 inch smaller than the cards. So there'll be 1/8 of an inch exposed. And then I did a 1/4 of an inch smaller for this part. That'll be a 1/4 of an inch of the black showing around. So that's how I come up with those. And I like to pre-cut all of this so that I can just bam, 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 make a bunch of cards. So we're just going to set those out of the way. Then I came across this in one of my drawers to the right, and it's just various things. So I did separate them into somewhat of piles in here and stuff. So let's see, what do we got here? We'll get rid of the plastic because it's just loud and annoying. So we got some scraps of ribbon. And I know that looks very random, which this whole package here was very random. These are some offcuts of mason jars. And I thought these could be cute. So I kept them, and I could just cut this apart down the middle real careful. And I'd have enough for 2 cards that I could make the mason jars, put a piece of the clear behind here. And I have this die, so I could cut just the tops off some of this paper and make a lid, which I'm not going to probably do that today, but that'll be something I do on another day. And then you could put things inside the jar because you'd have that piece of clear packaging, put the clear packaging on, then you would apply at the top, just the lid, just glue it to the plastic. And then you could have this as a frame around your jar. So keep your negatives because they can be used. And I think I have a bunch of those. There's a couple paper clips and then one of those clips. We can make some embellishments with those. This is just some random bits of a paper pad. And then this is smaller bits. And you can see right there's one of the lids that I had cut. And I'm just going to take one of these out. Like so, just to show you. It's really warm in here to me. So like I was saying, I could put the plastic behind it, like, put the piece of recycled plastic there. And then behind the plastic, I could apply some of these butterflies and stuff. But you could put that down. Well, put your plastic on the back. And then put this down on the page after you've put your butterflies or whatever you want to put in your jars. And then this, you would just fit back in here like so. And you'd have your jar back. So that's something we'll do another day when I've cut some more of the lid portions out of some leftover scrapbook paper, just so we have some lids. So those are for another day. So what are we going to use today? I've got these. These are the top of the paper pad, and I thought how cute those would be to make the toppers for tags, because they have the where the little paper pad would hang. That could be the top of your tag where you put your hole. So I've got those, so we can make some tags. And then on this side, it's just smaller pieces of the same paper pad. And then I've got the larger pieces of cardstock here and some solids. This is all solids here. Okay, so I got solids that kind of go with the paper pad. And then I keep all these small black pieces and white pieces to act as mats for the sayings that I have. So I've got some of the Tim Holtz sayings. So like if you wanted the white ones to pop out, you would just mount them on a piece of black and leave a little border, and these would pop out more on your card. And the same goes for the black ones. So if you take the black and you set it on a white mat, then it jumps out. So that's why I keep these little pieces of black and white, because you never know when you might need a small border. So the other thing I pulled out for us to look at is painty papers. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to go through here really quick and just kind of find some painty papers that kind of go with these printed things. And I want to keep the things for tags separate. There we go. And we'll do tags another Monday. So I got several projects that can be made out of all of this. So I'm just going to kind of fan out my papers. Some of these papers I put through embossing folders. Just get them to where I can see all the colors. This is, I think, all that's left of this one paper pad that I had. So I can see the colors that I have now. And then in here, of course, is the embellishments, and we'll open those when we get ready to use them. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning. So I'm going to stand up and just go through my pack of paper here. This is painty papers that I've done myself. I'm not going to worry with the small pieces this morning. I'm really aiming toward my gel plate printing things to be my backgrounds. Or some of this was sent to me by other people. Now, see, that would be real pretty as a background. So I'm going to keep that. I think these were some, I think, that Janet Baum sent me. Or maybe Safia. These would make really pretty backgrounds. All right, so I'm going to definitely keep these. See how they kind of go with the paper? That's too dark. That's kind of pretty. This looks like I actually made a book out of. Too bright. This was somebody's envelope or packaging that they sent me. And then I've got some smaller pieces here. Oh, this is kind of pretty. I don't know if you guys want to try to understand my method of madness here, but I'm just trying to pick out some of the colors that kind of go with the papers I have. So we'll just move these over here so you can kind of see some of these papers that I'm trying to. I probably can go with just what's there, but I figured why not look through these papers together. That's kind of pretty too. It's really too light. All right. I don't want anything really dark because I want this to kind of be, fall to the background. So I don't want the paper to be too loud and obnoxious. This is bookmarks. You see they're perforated. I love this print. And see, this one tells a story right here in that you don't have to have a gel plate to make painty paper. If you have a brayer or a sponge, you can just do squares of paint, and that creates painty paper too. Oh, this is pretty. It's a little off on the blue though, I think. Oh, and I should probably keep in mind my card color too. This is the card base. See, these all kind of go with this card base too. So this is my card base. That's the thing about the colored cards. You kind of have to keep them in mind too. I think I might go with what I have here so we're not here all day looking through paper, even though that can be fun. I'm going to grab my bag back that I had this in. This will only take a minute. Because if I don't put it back, then one of the cats will jump up and then it'll be a craft-a-lanch. I think the only thing that's still really bothering me with this illness is my rib cage hurts on my lower back, like where your kidneys are, which is kind of freaking me out a little bit. If that doesn't ease in the next day or so, I think I'll call and go in and let her give a listen to make sure I don't have, I need a prescription decongestant to break it up. I don't feel rattly. It's just, it feels like I've got muscle strain. So I don't know. All right, so let's make some cards. So I'm going to call this my background papers here. Now, if you want to use these papers instead of, let me move those there. Instead of the white, you can still use your white mats that you cut as just a base. If you don't want to cut these papers a little smaller and have the white showing, you don't have to. You could cover the whole thing. But I think I'm going to cut mine, again, 1/4 inch smaller than this. And I wish I could remember. All right, let me tell you the measurements. That might be helpful, and I'll write them on a little piece of paper to remind myself so you guys can go. These are purchased card blanks that my sister Rhonda bought me. Let's see, they are the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Yeah, so A2 size, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. So my black mats would be my black cardstock. Black mat is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to verify that because that's what they should be. 4 by 5 1/4. And then the white mats, which I have one here, are 3 3/4 by probably 5. White mat. And then if I want to make my painty paper backgrounds, painty paper, I'll cut at 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. So the only thing I have to worry about cutting is the 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. All right, there you go. I'll leave that right there for a minute. So let's cut some of these down. I've got quite a stack of things. So let's just aim for 4 cards. So I'll pick out 4 different ones of these. I really do want to use this one. So I said 3.5 by, I think this is the straightest side. All right, so yeah, 3.5 by 4 3/4. All right, so there's one. And let's cut some of this really cool paper here. Is that going to be too busy? Something reads a little bit more solid. I love this one, but I'm leaning more toward the ones that, like I said, read more solid. So I'll just set these over here out of the way. I'm going to cut these two. Yeah, I don't know. It's because of where it is, I'm kind of freaking out because, I have diabetes and kidneys can be a problem. All right, so these are going to be some very different. Each one will be its own animal. Is that is that what I want to say? Its own animal. I like to cut this part when I'm using some of the painting paper as a background. Cut a little wedge so when I cut the strips, I still have a little something of interest on my scraps. And see, even that right there, where it's got all this white, you could save it and leave the painty bit showing and then just put your phrase. Like if I put one of these phrases on here, it would pop out. And with very little effort on my part. We had such a hard time when we were on the road yesterday. We didn't really want to spend a ton of money, going to get something to eat somewhere. And we stopped at several restaurants, and one of them had the door locked, like they were drive-through only, like they didn't have enough staff to manage the place, which we thought was kind of puzzling at this time, but it was a very weird day. All right, so I've got these wonderful cardstocks. I'm going to need 4 of these to get us started. 2, 3, 4, and this is my base here, and this will get a mat. But I'll layer all of this up when we get there. Let's go ahead and decorate this part now. If anybody needs the measurements, I'll show them again, but there's the measurements that I'm using. So you got your card base, your black mat, your white mat, and then the painty paper that I've cut. So I'm going to set that aside. So let's do one at a time here. And we'll do 4. We'll just grab this one. And when you put that down, that already looks pretty, but you could put a strip of this. Doesn't that look pretty? And what I could do is cut this to the same length as my little mat. So I put that away and now I need it 4 3/4. So what if I just take some of these and cut 4 of them at the 4 3/4, and these can be like little strips to go down through. Let's see, I've got one that's got blue on it, and this has got like the topper on there. Oh, this would be pretty. Let's cut that at 4 3/4. And I am keeping the little pieces because even that can be added onto something. I don't always throw everything away. This could be pretty. I like that deer on there. Let's turn it this way. That could make for a masculine card. Maybe I could send one to Mark. Hadn't heard from Mark in a bit, or eternity. All right, and then something that's got some pink to it. I've got this. Oh, I love this. Let's get down to this one. This could be real pretty on the piece that's like this. Is it going to be 4 3/4? Hang on just a sec. I thought I heard a cat crying, and Juanita's outside, so I'm listening. Her kittens looked so forlorn. I let her go back out with them, and she wouldn't come to me this morning, so I think she's still miffed. All right, so let's get started by taking these and matching them up with those. So I really like this on here. And I'll get another base. Oh, I already picked some bases out right here. So put that there. This is just a way to make up cards quickly. And then we'll put a base there, and there, and there. All right. Oh, and look, there's stuff on the back, so you can choose. This one I really wanted to go here, but now I'm thinking that doesn't look quite as good. Oh, I don't know if that really goes now. Hold that. I wanted this one on here. That could be pretty there, but now we need one here. I have these butterflies, but they go this way. Oh, I like that. Let's cut this one to 4 3/4. Oh, all right. Enjoy your lunch. There was a whole conversation at some point that I came across, or everybody was talking about, what do you call your midday meal? What do you call your, on the farm, we had breakfast, lunch. No, we had breakfast, dinner, and supper. And then I started hearing, lunch when I went to school. You had lunch. Well, on the farm, you don't do that. At least we didn't. All right, I'm going to go through and I'm just going to attach these to the colored mats. And see, like I said, I could flip these over and have a different thing. But I like this blue on here. I always forget that Janet and Safia are well into their Monday already. And over in Australia, y'all are almost 2 or halfway through Tuesday or something like that. Isn't it amazing how the world goes around and we're all at different times, but we can still all get together on a Monday morning? I'm looking at this because I think the roses have to be upright. And again, I don't want to, let's see here. I like to put the mats on the paper onto the mat first. And that way, if I need to trim some, like see, you can see a little bit past there, I could trim it off if I want to, but we're thinking rapid making of cards. So I'm not going to worry about cutting it. I'm just going to get it matted onto here. pull this off the middle, maybe. Whoops. I thought maybe this pain, it feels like muscle pain, but I thought maybe it's because I've been laying around so much. So it said, well, if I make cards, that'll force me to stand, because I do better getting things centered if I stand up and I'm over it, you know, standing over this. So I'm going to go ahead and mat this on here onto the black. And I'll have a card front nearly done. So what you could do is you could go through and you could layer what you want as your background and then come back and decorate your cards in different ways. Now, what we could do before I stick this to the black, I could take a piece of this gold ribbon that's left over, put it on here and fold it around to the back and tape it before I stick it down. We might do that. So I'm going to lift this tape a little bit here. And we'll just come over this way and stick it into the stickum that's there. I was noticing my fabric scissors are getting kind of dull. So I need to cut them. I mean, not cut them. You know what I mean? I need to sharpen them. Oh, my word. I'm going to move those far away so that I don't accidentally. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball this, fold it over. And I might use a little tiny bit of regular old Scotch gift wrap tape. Oh, I didn't cut it quite long enough. I don't think it'll reach the other one. It's not going to. And there's something gold in there. I don't know what that sparkly bit is or even where it came from. But it'll make a lump on my card if I don't get it out of there. All right. Alrighty. And then I'll just put another piece of double-sided tape. And I went a little bit past. I can hear that bullfrog in the cement pond behind the garage. I need to mow the lawn at some point, but Hurricane Debbie's on her way. And we're supposed to get some nasty weather. Ann was catching it yesterday. So now we'll just mount this on here. All right. Somebody's messaging me or somebody's. All right. I'm going to go ahead and mount this onto a card, and then I'll come back and add other embellishments. Just get all my cards that I want to do. If I can make 4 cards this morning, I'll make sure I'm getting this in the right orientation. Lisa's just waking up. Greg has messaged me. Let me look and see what my son is saying. I can't read what it says. Uh-oh. Okay. He's showing me he walked into a mess, that a fan shroud fell apart at work, I guess. I don't know why I need to know about it, but he wanted me to see it. I don't know. It's like, your job, not mine. Fix it. He's just trying to share, I guess. All right, so I'm going to flip them toward you as I get them created here. So let's do another one. You can see how quickly this comes together utilizing your own painty papers and scraps of cardstock that's just laying around. Like, this was all just in a in a bag in there. And I was like, man, let's just use that up, make some cards and get them out of here. I've been giving some thought to, I'm making all these cards, but then I have all this scrap paper in my scrap bin. And I have, oh, wait a minute. I have dies that I could do die cuts. And then I have one die cut that I could make little envelopes. So why not? I could do some die cutting and then cut some envelopes out as well. And then I could pack one of the die cut envelopes. You could go ahead and create it together and put 3 or 4 or more little die cuts in it. And how fun would that be to pop into a card? And I'd be getting rid of a bunch of scraps, and people could use this stuff in their journals or to make cards of their own. And this is using your gel plate prints as well. Now, if you've got some really pretty gel prints, you could just cut one of those and then mount it up and say you're done. Like, isn't this cool? That would make a cool card just on its own. Put a little sentiment on and you'd be done. Or even some of this where it's so intense. Yeah. You don't necessarily have to have the cards, the pretty card stocks or anything. Or you could use a printed, some other, like a painty piece that you've done. Like you've done a prompt game on just paper. You could cut a piece of that off. Or as Nina Ribena says, make you a masterboard and use a part of the masterboard. Maybe add a ribbon or whatever you've got. Just use your bits. Use your bits up. Cards don't have to be tricky. Or if you've got a doodle that you could turn into a focal image, you could do that. Or, we all have rubber stamps that we're not using. I'm sitting here looking. I have 2 bins of clear plastics or clear stamps. And then I have drawers of wooden stamps. And you could just stamp a bunch of that stuff out, maybe color some of it in. I have a bunch of stuff that was digital images. I need to just spend some time coloring. I really kind of want to do this one in this orientation. Didn't get that completely straight because I was talking at the same time. And sometimes talking and doing don't really end up well. So I am going to, this card is not going to open from the side. It's going to open this way. So I'm going to stick this on like so. And then we'll grab, when we get these all put together, so I have 4 cards here, then we'll open the embellishments and see what we can add and see what sayings we have. I'm trying to use up the sayings. Oh, and I printed off some too the other day. And I didn't print it on sticker paper, so I'll have to use double-sided tape. I am out of the Xyron refills. That's something I need to add, that I need to order when I get a little YouTube money again. I almost need a chalkboard to just, jot this stuff down. That could be something fun to look for at the thrift stores, is a little chalkboard that I could just put on to write things. I don't need a great big one. I was thinking maybe just one of the children's ones, the ones that used to have the counting beads on the bottom. That would be so cool to find. Actually, I might have one of those in the hope chest, but I'd have to move everything that's on top of that hope chest. All right. So this one's kind of plain. It's just the two bits of paper on the black. But aren't these looking pretty? I'm going to come down just a little bit. Give me more room to work. I need more room to work. Now look, see, I've got this side, or I could flip it over and have the dots. But I think this side looks best. So utilize that double-sided paper and get it used up. Some people used to tell me when I worked at Michael's that they hated double-sided paper because then they had to choose. And to me, that just gives you more opportunities to do stuff, more chances to make decisions. Let's see here. And you could ink edges and do all of the fun stuff, you know, to add even more depth. But I'm trying to do quick cards this morning, so that's why I didn't pull out the ink pads. Trying to use up a bunch of stuff that's just been hanging around a long time. And I've got all these beautiful jelly plate prints that are just sitting there. So ooh, it's getting warm because I got all these lights on in here, I think. I'm just going to be bad and pull the tape off. I generally don't like to do that. Alrighty. I have more of that gold ribbon piece too that I could add. We might put a piece of that on there. Ooh. Let's get a piece of black down here. Anything mounted on black looks great. Hi, Christine. Thank you, Lisa. Well, I can't seem to get the backing. When we were out driving, we saw this sign that said slab boat ramp or something like that. And so we went past it, and then we turned around and we came back to it. And I don't know if we ever really found the boat ramp, or if that parking lot where I took the picture of the, oh, that's an envelope, cypress tree that was covered in Spanish moss. I don't know if that was the boat ramp or not, but there was two gals there fishing, and they said they'd only caught, you know, a couple small fish and a huge turtle. And it looked really alligatory. And then we kept passing these places that said, caution, alligator farm. And I'm going to sit down for a bit. Just a minute here. I got to look for tape. It very definitely was in the lower part of the state where there's a lot more water all the time. And it looked so swampy and so gatory. I'm like, I'm not getting out. We got out by that cypress tree, and there could have been alligators all around there. I mean, it was that dense of places. And what was cute, and I should have took a picture of this, is there's like the main river waterway, and it looked like you could back a boat in. But then off to the side, up through the trees, there was like this narrow area where fish would go. And it looked like people stuck their kids there. Because if you looked just across, because this thing was maybe 4 or 5 feet wide, on the other bank, there was all of the fishing bobbers were like hanging like Christmas ornaments on the other side, where the kids had shot it across and then broke their lines trying to get their line back, and the bobbers just stayed in the trees. And what really made me sad, though, was somebody's been dumping old tires into the waterway. And I was just thinking, that is so sad. Just take them to, tire recycling, or even to the dump would be better than in, someplace where people go for leisure time. But I mean, it was out in the middle of nowhere. So that was our first long road trip in the car. I think we were in the car for about 4 hours, but my back was hurting before then. Oh, you know what? I was going to try that gold on here again. It wouldn't have gone anyway. Let's see. Will it go with this? That kind of looks pretty on that one. I might use that. All right. So there's another one. And you can see how quick these come together once you get started. I'm going to go ahead. Oh, wait a minute. Whoop, whoop. Oh, well, I didn't know there was a stamped image on the back. That's okay. That's a hidden surprise that nobody will ever see. But that's okay. I didn't know it was stamped back there. So whoever gets this card, there's a hidden flowers on it. I'm just doing all of the tape at once to save us a little bit of extra time. Because when you're doing something in order like this, if you do whatever you need to do to the back all at once, then you're not picking the tape up, putting it down, picking the tape up, putting it down. You're just doing all of the tape at once. That saves you time. That's a time management skill. Janet Nash is in the UK. Binks a hug for me. Yeah, the weather is getting roughed all around, isn't it? I've been kind of being oblivious. We don't have like Weather Channel or any of that. We just get the little blips that come up. And Scott listens to the news on his way to work every morning. He listens to BBC in the mornings, and this looks a little different in size, but he listens to all of the news agencies around the world on his 40-minute drive. He gets all the top news stories that way. So he's been following the weather more than I have. I've just been focusing on getting better and not try to fuss and worry. I was fussing and worrying over the cat, and Scott's like, she's going to be fine. Okay. We can't bring her in because our cats would have a meltdown. This one will go this way. Now, Tippy's pulling his water dish across the kitchen floor, just so you guys know. He's not satisfied with the water. It hasn't been changed out in the last 5 minutes. I'm really tempted to get him or them one of those water fountain water dishes that has a filter. This thing has a filter, but I cannot trust it to be a perpetual waterer for them if we went out of town. Like next year, we are planning, hopefully, to do something. Oh, and I was going to put this gold ribbon on here. I'll do that on a different card. All right, so now we got the card bases. We'll work on embellishing them a bit. And I've got sayings. But anyway, we're planning a trip for our 40th anniversary next year. So trying to figure out what I can do. Oh, Christine says she's been evacuated. She's near the fires out in California. Those are scary. Fires scare me. because one wind change and you can be in real bad danger. All right, I'm going to turn these so they're facing me again, so I don't put things on, upside down, backwards. These are just random, kind of natural looking things. Looks like bees and butterflies that kind of go with this stuff. Kind of, sort of. Let's see, what else do we have? Let's look at this big butterfly. I'm just going to let that set there until I decide if I like it or not. These I'll probably put on with some glue. Oh, this is pretty. It's pretty, but it just doesn't, it's not speaking to me. Here's some ladybugs. She is. She's healing really well. She wouldn't let me get near her this morning, but yesterday there was no redness. There was no, there was no sign of infection or swelling or any of that. So I'm saying she's good. I love all these little ladybugs. That one seems to have problems with its butt. We'll set that one aside. Maybe just use 3 of them. All right. Then let me see what we've got in our sayings. I really do kind of like that. But maybe put the butterfly up there. And then I can put my... Well, I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. And they didn't put a date to take her back for stitches removal. So I don't know. It's been a while since I had to, and I really don't think I'm going to be able to catch her again. So we'll see. We'll just play that out. See how it goes. I'm just going to plop this on here. I don't have my little piece of wood that Scott got me over here to weight this down while I'm moving from one to the other. It's so weird being here by myself. It's been a while since I've been here by myself. You know, with them both home. That'll do. That'll do, donkey. I keep jumping back. I'm like distracted. It's like squirrel. I'm just going to randomly put some ladybugs on here. Or as y'all call them, ladybirds. That'll do. Yeah, we kept her in on the porch, on the catio out there. I kept Juanita on there until yesterday morning. And what was really kind of heartbreaking is the kittens would line up on the ledge around the porch and just look so sad because they couldn't get to their mama. So that's why I was like, I think you're well enough. You can go back out. And now we're supposed to get all this awful weather, and I'm hoping she can, you know, she'll find places to get in. And this is almost like two worker bees and a queen bee because she's got glitter on her wings, but we can fix that. We can give them all glitter on their wings if we want to, because I went through and I pulled out because I was going to do this with Anne. This is all the glitter glues that I have here. And most of these have just tiny little bits, and some of them, I put them in like this to see if I could get it to the bottom. And if it hasn't gone to the bottom or the tip of the thing, they probably need to just go in the trash because that usually means they're dried out. Like that doesn't look like it has much in it. So we might add some of that to these bees. All right, we got to glue these on here. I'll put the glue up. Didn't mean to. I just wanted to weight that butterfly down because it's substantially thicker than these other embellishments. No, we took that drive yesterday, and we got back, and the only place we stopped was trying to find someplace to eat, and we were talking about, you know, everything looks so different. I went to college down there, and nothing looks the same, so I was just totally lost. And I was like, well, that's time for you. Time marches on for no man, you know, with no man intended. Time doesn't care. That's why we should all live right in this moment, because the past doesn't matter anymore and we can't read the future. All we can do is hold on and hope for the best, because you don't know what's going to happen with anything, really. All right, so I'm done with these embellishments. So I'm trying to keep this habit of going ahead and putting things back in as I go, so that I'm not spending all day afterwards trying to clean up my room that's exploded because I did a live. And let's see, it's 7:30 now. So I'm thinking about an hour is about probably all I'm good for. But I want to finish these cards. So we'll go until the cards are finished. And then that's it. All right. Now I want to add some sayings. Oh, I missed some. They were hiding. We watched a movie, Jack Reacher. It's got Tom Cruise in it, which I used to like him. And then he went all kooky. I got the envelopes to go with these cards. So I can make more cards with Anne. So let's see, what do we have on our sheets here? Let's just use it. Well, I like this one. It says, hitting a rough patch doesn't undo all of the progress you have made. Keep going. So I'm going to cut that one out. I should probably put some tape behind it first. Never think anything is impossible. Look at the word. In the word, it says im or I'm possible. Let's see. Oh, good. I can see from this side. So if I just line that up, there'll be adhesive behind it. And I need 4 sayings. That's one. A flower does not think of competing with the flower next to it. It just blooms. I think that's that one right there. I'll just do the one underneath that. That's 4 sayings. I'll just cut them out. Burnish this down so hopefully my blade will cut through the adhesive. We'll find out. This is when I miss having my Xyron with tape in it. Okay. Put that right there. Oh, it tore it. Razzle dazzle. That's not good. Might have to do this with the scissors. This blade is shot and it's just not wanting to do. It's okay. See if I have better luck with a pair of scissors. It's so aggravating. I'd lift the camera up, but then you guys won't be able to see what I'm doing on the paper. And I've got really bad hair today. It's got a mind of its own. It says, brush? You think you're going to brush me? I think not, woman. It says, I'm going to stick up in 5 different directions, and I don't care what you think you're going to do with that brush. Oh, Gregory, you're going to wear me out today, my love. All right, so there we go. And see, where was the other one? Here. I might have to put some adhesive behind another one because I really tore that one saying up with the cutter. I just came across these sayings on my computer and I said, I want to print that sheet off. That looks like it would be quite useful. That one will have to be cut into sections, but that's okay. We can cut them into sections. No biggie. Everybody must be quiet now. Not seeing the chat move. Everybody must be busy. Or off eating dinner or lunch or breakfast or whatever. Okay, this one I'm going to cut down smaller. On our own, we are one tiny square, but together as a community, we are a beautiful blanket full of warmth. Kind of like that one on there. And this one has flowers, so we'll put that one there. So I need a saying for here. Let's see. These are positive messages, is what this is. These are so much easier if you put them on sticker paper. But we'll get there. This one says, when you take time to replenish, it allows you to serve from overflow. You can't serve from an empty vessel. So now if you wanted these to pop, you would take a piece of black and stick it behind your sentiment. In fact, this one I could like put on here and trim it in half and put both lines on a single piece and then put it there. Let's see. Put that one there. I'm looking for bigger pieces, so because my sayings are so long. Oh, now my eye itches. Hang on. Don't you hate that when you get an itch in your eye? And they say don't rub your eye because it misshapens your eye. And I didn't know that. I read that the other day and I was like, really? So by rubbing your eyes too much, you can actually distort the shape of your eyeball. Isn't that interesting? I had no idea. And I'm an eye rubber. I just find myself rubbing on my eyes all the time, which is not a good thing. All right, the fun part's going to be getting my adhesive loose from this tiny little strip here now. I might need my Tim Holtz pokey tool. Uh-oh. And they're impossible to hold on to, too. They fall on the floor. All right, I'm going to stand up. All right. I need to put these on here. I think I'm going to need the pokey tool to do it. And I need to move up so you guys can see what on earth I'm doing. Tools. Pokey tool. Pokey tool. All right, so I'm going to take this and see if I can find the blooming edge here. Oh, I think I got it. There we go. And if you can't get them on here straight, don't worry about it. Intentionally put them on wonky, and then it'll look like you did it on purpose. That's the secret. Okay. I know this takes a minute. It's probably boring, but you know what? It's what I want to do this morning. And if you still have scraps left from whatever scrap thing you grabbed to make cards, you could make a little tag to stick inside or an ATC from some of the things. And if I had more time or energy this morning, I would make a little something to stick in these, but maybe next time when I'm not recovering. I think I'm just going to put this on here. Well, we're going to go with it. All right, so now I'm going to cut this off here. I really don't like how that looks. I just don't like that big old blob of black sticking out there. There we go. Put that up there at the top of the card. All right, while I work on the other saying here. It's so tiny, it's hard to deal with. I think if I do another one like this, I'm going to do each little strip on its own mat so that I don't have an oddly shaped piece like I did on that one. Okay. And that will complete this card up here. Let's put right here. And I almost feel like it needs a little flower or something right there. Hang on, let's see what I've got. One of these, that's it. It has flowers in it. Let's see if I've got anything. No, too big. Too big. I think all my tiniest flowers I've already used up. That one might be hard to mail. Whoops. That's the bad thing about adding things with dimension. That adds to the cost anymore. Is that too much to add the flower? It kind of looks like too much to me. Maybe buy the butterfly. Almost needs to be a stronger color. Again, I'm going back to, I need to use this stuff up. All these flowers I made up, they need to just be stuck on something or put in Happy Mail. And then I've got flowers that people I don't hear from at all anymore. I don't know if something happened to them or, you know, what. Might use that one and just use it up. Because I need to make some more small flowers. I figured out some way to use these big ones. So what do you think? Put that flower on there? It's a little off on color. We're going to go for it. Whatever. We're going to go for it. Now, amount of glue will take forever to dry, but the flower won't fall off. I'll set it up on the fireplace to dry. All right. So now we've got this one here. All right, I am going to mount it on black. So when you take time to replenish, we'll snip that there. It allows you to serve from the overflow. We'll snip it right there. And then we end up with, you can't serve from an empty vessel. Alrighty. And I'm going to put these on one at a time. We'll use this piece here first, maybe not. This one here. And I'm not worried if these aren't perfectly rectangular in shape. They're hand cut. Come on. There we go. Okay. Mary's sending me some gorgeous cat fabric. Oh, there's a little something stuck on there. So, in other words, you can't burn the candle at both ends and still expect to be able to give of yourself in any way, even a small way, if you're totally exhausted, which I learned that the hard way. I nearly had a nervous breakdown from trying to work 70-hour weeks. And then I switched to a job where I was working less, but the stress load was way beyond my capacity. You have to learn your own limits. And I mean, it's great to try to expand yourself, but you need to listen to your body. And I wasn't listening. I was living on Pepto-Bismol and Tums and anything to keep my stomach from feeling like it was going to come out of my throat. It was bad. And I felt responsible for everything. Everything was my total responsibility, and I wasn't delegating well, and I was just burnt out. And then what really did me in, finding out that the male managers doing the same job, doing the exact same job, were working less and making $20,000 more a year than I was. And I was like, why am I killing myself for these people? You know? Lisa's sipping her coffee. I've got a cup of coffee over here, but nothing's tastes good. I'm not enjoying coffee. Yeah, this couple sheets I had here is like having Jody Ann on paper. I don't know if I shared this sheet in my group or not. I think I did. That one could have almost been cut in half a little bit more. But we'll just do that. And then I've got one more here, and then I'll put these on. I could turn that one while it's drying toward you so you can see what it turned out as. I don't know why I'm shaking so bad. I had breakfast. Maybe I'm reaching my exhaustion point. Our lawn needs to be mowed so badly. And I was going to do it today, but it's not going to dry out enough. It's going to be so hard to mow this lawn if I don't mow it. But man, I'm not feeling it. The city will be getting on us about the height of the grass, but we've been so blooming sick. That one I didn't do too good. I wonder if I could peel it off and reset it down a little bit more. Come on. I picked it up and put it down and didn't do any better. In fact, I did worse. Oh, that's better. Now, will it stay stuck? That'll be the $50,000 question. Guess we'll find out. There we go. I'll just put some glue on here. I think these were sayings for better mental health that I came across, and then I typed them out and created this sheet. I'd like to know why women feel so guilty when they're sick. Why do we feel so guilty? Is it because we feel like we can't care for those people around us? What? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I always feel so guilty when I'm like not getting things done and not doing what I'm supposed to and have no strength. How do you let go of that guilt of, just not being able to do it? And I find that that's more true now that I'm getting older too. It's like my body's not letting me do all the things that I used to do either. I used to do, crazy things. Scott would go to work and I would completely rearrange the house. I can't do that anymore. I want to, but then I feel guilty having to ask for help to do stuff like, toss the couch around like it's nothing. Hi, Ruth. All right, let's take this one here. This is my favorite saying, I think. On our own, we are one tiny square, but together as a community, we are a beautiful blanket full of warmth. I love that. Oh, and this is the one. Let's get this stuck down. And then I want to bling up the wings on all of the bees because there's no queen bees around here. I'm going to cut this in half down through here. And let's cut this after this comma right there. And then I think there's a part of the saying that comes down here. All right. Like crochet and patchwork we are. I think that's what my country and all around the world, we need to remember that we are but one tiny square. And we need to work together to become cohesive and to form unity and to quit pointing out each other's differences so much and try to find kind ways to treat one another, whether we have the same beliefs or not. That looks a little odd, but it's handmade. It's handmade, people. It's a handmade card. Now let's stick this one on here. Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. Got the little piggy done, and I shared that already. And I started on I had some scrap yarn, yarn leftover bits that I've started what they call a stroller cover. It's like 20 inches by 30 inches. I'd never heard of that size before. So I started crocheting that. I'm just going to see how far I get with the little scraps of yarn that I have. It might be just a small little afghan. One more piece here. Now I sound like my cat trying to move the water dish across the floor. Tink, 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 tink. Oh, golly. Or put this down here. I like that better. I like the unevenness. Hi, Vicki. Good morning. Okay. Just making some cards. Using a pack of scrap I just found, just kind of random bits were shoved in a bag and stuck in a drawer. I hate when I do that. I like having a place for everything and put it in its place. I hate finding just random things chunked together. That's why when Mary's doing it, I'm just like, go ahead and create a box that says doilies on it. And then every time you come across a doily, grab that box and throw it in. And then before you know it, you have all your doilies in one place, all your blah, blah, blahs in another. And, you know, that's how I set my room up. But everybody has to find their own way of, you know, putting their room together. That's like if I help somebody else with their space, I don't try to put my spin on it. I ask questions like, well, how do you work? What direction do you find you reach the most? And try to figure out their thought process, you know? That's what, if more people thought about their very own thought process, they could set their creative spaces up so much easier. If you're constantly, you know, in chaos, it's so hard to be creative for me when there's so much chaos around. I have to have some bones of structure instead of having everything in chaos. All right, I want to bling the wings up on everybody here. So let's see what we've got. I've got so many things of stickles. I'm going to go over this one again, just so they all have the same kind of stickly cover here. I'll just put some more on there. Just add some more. So everybody sparkles. We should all help each other sparkle. Helping my friends sparkle. Instead of focusing on our differences, build each other up, help each other sparkle. There you go. Now that is just a whole card of queen bees. Because nobody's better than anybody else. So there's that. Then, let's see, glued the ladybugs on here. All right, this one says, hitting a rough patch doesn't undo all the progress you've made. Keep going. So we need to put this on black and then figure out how we're going to put it on the card. I'm not going to stick any of this down until I get this. Click it there. And then do the keep going on its own. I like to cut this little phrases in groups of 3 to 5. That way, you know, you can get an even dispersion. The only one I didn't do it on is this one. This is in 4. I should have cut that one in half, and then I could have had 5 different little things down through, but it works. So thank you. And these cards are all just scraps, you guys. These are scraps. Don't be afraid to mix and match whatever scraps you have and come up with, you know, different groupings. And don't glue anything out, you know, or down until you're kind of satisfied with what you have going. You know, keep auditioning things. That's the word I like to use. Audition stuff like crazy. And then when you can finally settle on something you like, then glue it down. Don't jump too far ahead and grab the glue right away. Unless you want to play a game that really challenges you and just go with whatever comes together and slap it down. That can be fun, but you'll end up with some very quirky cards. Yeah, we came home from our drive yesterday and Scott got in his recliner and he was out. Out. one more little saying here to mount onto black. And you see what I mean about mounting things? So like I said, if you have a bunch of sayings like the Timmy sayings that are on the black background, if you really want them to pop up off your card, mount those on white, and vice versa. Mount the white ones on black. And then your statement, your phrase, your greeting, whatever, will pop out so it's easier to be seen. I love the ladybugs. Ottawa is where our Shannon lives. Art junkie. God, Shannon and I have been friends for ages. Even before she got her brain injury. God, we've been friends from YouTube since about the beginning. I'm about 11 and a half years on YouTube. You know, and I've been in here a long time, and people say, why aren't I growing? I was like, well, it took me 11 years to get to almost 3,500 subscribers. So some people, it just takes longer because this is what I do for fun. I don't want to make it into a job. So I'm not going to put up, 5 videos a day or any of that. I'm just not going to do it. Now, I can't do this to all of them because I put glitter glue on them. Yes, I can. I can open it up. Becky, what are you thinking? I guess I'm not. I'm looking for something. Give me just a sec. Here it is. Mary Hill, that I hadn't seen in a while, and I know she was battling the same thing that some people come up with, catch is the cancer, and hadn't heard from her in a while. I wish her and her family well. What you can do is, if you've put gooey stuff on, you can just open your card and go ahead and stamp or sign the backs of your cards before you put them away. And I'm just going to use some Ranger Archival and this stamp that Mary Hill sent me. I guess I should stamp. It's been a while since this has been used. So here we go. Let's see what we get. And I don't have a piece of anything underneath it, which obviously I need something. Oh, here we go. See if I can scoop this up. I should have moved this. I don't know if this is going to be a clear stamp, but just hoping I'm not going to hit the wings. But she had this stamp made for me years ago. It says Aunt Beck's Creations on it, and it's got a cat. Yeah, Shannon was saying that people would skate to work on the river, but the last couple winters, it hasn't frozen enough for people to do that. That's what Shannon was saying in one of her lives one day last winter. There we go. See, handmade by Aunt Beck's Creations. And that'll get sat aside somewhere to dry. All right, we'll set this on here. And ink it up again. And I like to put the sentiment on the outside, and that way I can write a note. And then if what they want to do, if You get a card from me and you want to save both the front and the back, and you want them in the flat, not as a card, just cut the card in half, put the front down, and then put the message so everything's open so you can see it without opening the card. You can do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just cut the card in half. This is so hard to do when I've got stuff all over the desk. All right, let's set this on here and hold it down. I love the snow too if I don't have to go out in it or have to shovel it. That's the beauty of here is when we do get some snow, it only lasts a couple days, which is nice. Uh-oh. I'm waiting to see if a big unit jostles the whole table. He might be going for a dog nap. Ooh, that's too cold, Lisa. I just can't do it. For anybody that's new, the first 18 years of my life, I grew up in upstate New York, where we got cold weather and lots of snow, but minus 20s, minus 30s. I don't remember any deeper than that. But I do remember lots of snow and having fun on the toboggans, which now if I say toboggans down here, nobody knows what I'm talking about. That one didn't come out as clear, but I've stamped it. It's got my signature on it. I'm going to have to stand that up until I'm done stamping. So let's get this one. And then I'll put them all back down so you guys can see them one more time. And then I'm going to sign off because Dee Dee will be on here shortly. And I try to get off before Dee Dee comes on at 8:30. And then I'll hang out with her for 30 minutes. And then I'll jump over to Janet Nash at 9. And then sometimes I jump back depending on what Dee Dee's doing. I'm like Mary. I don't color a lot. I color sometimes. And I like Dee Dee's book reviews and that kind of thing. So I just like to say good morning to Dee Dee because she's always been so supportive of me and my channel. I don't know if you guys saw that big scratch on my hand. Yeah, Mary Hill. She sent me this stamp and she knitted me she knitted Scott and I some slipper socks that we love. We still have them. Scott about wore holes in his. So she made him another pair, which I thought was wonderful. Actually, she made us each another pair. And I do miss seeing her pop in. And she was in Canada too. Now there's another Mary Hill I've seen pop in, but it's not the same Mary Hill. And my Mary Hill that was here before, I call her mine. She's not mine. She's everybody's. She had a channel. I don't know if her channel is still up or not. All right, let's see. That one did better. Yeah, much better. And again, I'll stand it up so everything can dry. I think that flower's probably had time enough to dry. One more. And then I'll share them and say my goodbyes and hope that you guys have a great week. I'll get with Ann and see if she wants to do Wednesday at noon together. That's what we were going to do on Ann's channel. So if I do Wednesday, it'll be over on Ann's. I like to get lots of juicy stuff up on here. And before it starts raining or anything, I guess I should go check on Juanita and see if I can get her to come to me now. I need to check her tummy. It's felt like plus 38. It's been, well, is that Celsius or Fahrenheit, Lisa? It is currently, if I look at my thing, it's 78 degrees Fahrenheit here right now. It says we're supposed to get rain. I'm looking out at the lawn, and I know the dog is having trouble getting around. My dog is deaf and blind, and so when the grass gets tall, if her face hits it, she jumps. So her face is definitely hitting it, and I need to get out there and mow. I don't like to mow wet grass. It gums up the mower, it dulls the blade. It's just not good. Oh, that one did really good. Now that we're just about done for the day. And this is my stamping piece of thick foam that I just keep under the table here. All right, so you guys got to hang out and make some cards with me this morning. So there's that one. And there's that one. I'll just lay them down. They'll be easier to see. I do have some things that need to be put away. So these two I'm going to set up on the fireplace for a couple days to make sure they're good and dry. And then in a couple days, I'll address some cards and send some cards out. So if I have your address, you might get one of these. Whoopsie doodles. All right. I hope you guys have, a great day and a wonderful week. And yep, I've hit the barking section of the video. All right. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Janet. And I'll see you at your place in a little bit. I'll pop over. Maybe I'll have a cup of tea with you. All right, my loves. I'll see you later. Bye. Thank you.